say amen.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know whether it's secular, R&B, or whoever it is. They get ministered to when you sing that song. And I think everybody can feel the gift and the passion, in it. Where did Say Amen come from?
Well, Say Amen was, I made a promise to the Lord like a couple years before I left the group, before I did my solo thing. And I remember praying, I said, Lord, because I always wanted to do a solo project, whether it was leave the group and do a solo project, or if the group would have stayed together, I still would have done a solo project and the group now. I mean, like now, we do Shalimar. I do Shalimar overseas with Jeffrey Daniel and Carolyn Griffey. We do tours overseas all the time, but I do my solo thing. So I remember praying a prayer one time, and I said, Lord, when I'm by myself, when I am responsible for what I say, because it is a very personal thing. It's a very personal situation. And I said, but when I'm responsible for what I say, I promise you on every project that I do, I will honor you on every project that I do.
Wow.
And I remember going and when I first left the group, I had to have a meeting with the people. I went from Solar Records to Elektra, and I had to have a meeting with the A&R people at Elektra and the new management company too, So I went in there and I was really excited because I was finally doing my solo thing. I shook everybody's hands and I sat down and I said, well, first of all, I tell the story all the time, but I said, first of all, I just want to say that I want to do a song to the Lord on this album.
This is to your new manager.
The new manager, and the new record company.
Right.
But I hadn't even talked to the new manager about it yet, And so I said, I want to do a song to the Lord on this album. And this is 85. This is 1985. This is, I'm talking, we had Denise Williams who would do a gospel album, and then she'd do an R&B album. But I'm talking about R&B, an inspirational song, gospel song on an R&B album. Man, you could hear a pin drop in there. It was like, and then finally this one guy starts talking, Howard, we want to take your career in the sex symbol direction.
Right.
Might not be conducive to, gospel music or religious music. And then this other guy starts talking, and then my management even started talking, because like I said, I hadn't even talked to them about it. And so I just kind of like, when something like that happens, I just, I just kind of kick back and listen to what they're saying. Because again, we're in 1985. When they got done, I said, I hear what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. I said, but maybe I just approached this the wrong way. I said, let me take some steps back and let me say that I'm going to do a song to the Lord on this album. And I said, because this is a promise that I made to God.
Yeah.
And that promise, without him, there would be no career for you guys to take in whatever direction. So I'm going to do a song to the Lord on the album, and now we can talk about everything else we need to talk about. And then
did you have Say Amen in mind?
Didn't have anything. Hadn't written anything yet.
Wow.
Hadn't written anything. Monty Seward, a good friend, good brother in Christ, and also a great, amazing writer, amazing producer, and the whole thing. And he was this new cat that I heard about, And so like I got in touch with him, and we set aside like 3 days that he was going to come to the crib, and we were going to write, And so like, not saying I hadn't even pinpointed that as far as for the inspirational song, but we were just going to write. I just wanted to write with him because, he was this cat everybody was talking about. And so he came to I was staying in Hancock Park then. I had this condo over there. And so had all my equipment and stuff set up in there, you know. So he came to the crib, and the first night he came, and we sat and we talked for about the whole time. I mean, like 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. We just sat and talked. Then, you know, got late and stuff. Said, okay, we'll come back tomorrow. We're gonna come back tomorrow, and like, you know, give him some right. Next day he came back over, and this lady that worked for me, she had made dinner and all that kind of stuff. So she had split, and we were sitting there eating dinner and talking, and we talked, and then we didn't write anything. The next he split. The next day he comes back over, same thing. She cooked dinner, and we talked the whole time. And it was like when he's getting ready to split that night, I said, well, man, hey, you know, we didn't write nothing yet, you know, but you know, we got to be good friends. I mean, right. You know, and I said, well, I'm not, you know, I was getting ready to go back out on the road. I said, we'll connect and like, you know, figure out another some more time to go. And then about 6 months later, 6-7 months later, we finally got together. He came to the crib. We sat down, wrote the foundation for Say Amen. And man, it was amazing. After that was the first song that he and I had ever written together. And from that point on, we've written a bunch of songs through the years. And so that was the as far as like the way that I write is, you know, people give me tracks, or I'll sit down and we'll, you know, put some tracks together, music, you know, and all that, and then I'll take it and figure out what I want to say, and figure out the melody, and then figure out where I want to go as far as like lyrically is concerned. And that was the same thing with Say Amen with the track. And I remember we knew that we wanted this to be the inspirational track. I started writing stuff, you know. This isn't cool, ball up, throw it away. Write some more, that's corny, you know, whatever. And then finally, after about a month or so, I said, Lord, you know, this is your song. When you're ready to give me your song, you know, give it to me. This is your song, right? Wow. And I remember, man, jumping on a plane. I was dating this girl, and her family lived in Florida, and I loved Miami at that time. Miami was like my thing, and I loved Miami, the tropical, Hispanic, tropical feel of it and all that kind of stuff. So I used to spend a lot of time down there. We were gonna spend Thanksgiving down there with her family. And so she was already there, and I was meeting her there, and I was in the studio all day, and then I jumped on a red eye going to Miami. And when I got on the plane, I had a cassette. It's back in the cassette. Had a cassette of a bunch of songs that I had to write some lyrics and melodies and stuff to. And I was listening to, I put my headphones on, plane took off, I was listening. And like about 20 minutes or 30, 40 minutes into the flight, at the end of that cassette was a real rough version of Say Amen. Just Monty playing the keyboards, put some little, you know, fillers over top of it. And it would go through the first verse, and it would go to the end of the first hook, and it would cut off, right? That's how rough it was. But man, Bishop, at that time, that thing came on, and the Lord said, here, it's time to say goodbye for now. We'll have our second time around. How about second time around? Second time around, you know, all that. We'll have our second time around, but before we go, there's something I got to say. You know, and I started writing. And then when it got to the second verse, you know, there's cattle on 1,000 hills. Man, yeah, because my mom used to tell me that all the time as I was growing up. She said, "You're the king's kid. You know, see, we are children of God, and the king he has cattle on 1,000 hills."
So much love.